shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Our two big weather makers this week. We get back into a summer-like pattern, more heat and a better chance for afternoon and evening thunderstorms. And then in the tropics, things are beginning to heat up. We'll talk about the next storm likely to form.
A road wrecked. Flooding caused a sinkhole that shut down an Apex road. When the DOT is expected to give an update on the timeline for repairs.
And autopsy questions. What Florida officials still don't know after the body of a missing 18-year-old from Fuquay-Varina was found. A lot to tell you about here on this Monday morning as we get things started. Great to have you with us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan, and it's good to have Renee back. You had a nice week off, I hope.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I came back from Michigan, visited family there, and the weather was nice. Yeah, low 80s, escaped the humidity. How was it here?
It wasn't bad. It
wasn't
better
bad,
than
right?
it has been. Yeah.
So but a lot of rain.
Caught a little bit of a break, except for with the rain, you know. It's letting up now, though. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center as we look at that radar.
Yeah, after we had kind of a nice dry weekend, we're looking at getting back into that potential for some rain. It's pretty quiet right now, but we're going to see some of this moving up from the south as we get through the day today. This morning, our chances are pretty minimal. I think our morning commute will be fairly dry. We get into the afternoon, and it's about 40%, and then during the evening, that's when we'll have the best chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms going up to 60%. Could be heavy in some places. We'll talk about our flooding risk coming up. It's a cloudy start out there for us this morning, 73, and our dew points jumped to 72. We had a nice sort of low dew point, not a lot of humidity over the weekend, but of course, with this surge of moisture coming in, that's definitely changing. Our highs, though, stay cool again today. Expect a high of 82 degrees, but again, we'll have that chance of showers later on. We're watching a system that's coming off the coast of Africa right now that has a good chance of at least becoming a tropical depression, if not something a little bit stronger. A 90% chance in the next 7 days and a 70% chance in the next 2 days. It looks like it'll probably head straight across the Atlantic. Where it goes from there, it's way too early to tell, but we'll take a look at some of the computer models coming up in just a bit.
Elizabeth, thanks. We're following breaking news. Durham crews were at the scene of an overnight townhome fire. This happened on Riverwalk Terrace near North Roxborough Street. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on the scene earlier this morning. Durham Fire says crews put out the fire quickly when they got there. The person living there was cooking at the time. The fire department says the person can't stay in the townhome but has family in the area. Nobody was hurt.
Transportation officials are expected to provide new information on efforts to fix a giant sinkhole. It has closed Olive Chapel Road in Apex. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live now in Apex as town leaders are preparing for a repair process that could take months, Kelsey.
Yes, Jeff, it could. And today we're expecting to get an update from NCDOT about what they're going to do about this huge sinkhole here. We've been staying on top of the repair process here on Olive Chapel Road since that sinkhole formed last week. You can take a closer look at it in this video. NCDOT says the sinkhole was caused by a failed drain pipe that was already scheduled to be replaced. Apex Town Council member Terry Mahaffey says he's hoping they can temporarily open this part of the street. WRAL's Kirsten Clark spoke with him about how drivers are now forced to use nearby neighborhoods as detours, and speeding is causing an issue.
Here's to see what the actual impact is going to be, take a look at it. Also, increased enforcement could be a thing. The speed limit through a lot of these neighborhoods is 25 miles an hour, and often new drivers may not know that, and that's something we may have to enforce.
NCDOT says that they plan to reopen this road in November, but that process could take much longer. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Apex.
According to autopsy results of an 18-year-old from Fuquay-Varina that was found dead in Florida, more testing still needs to be done. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies recovered Giovanni Pelletier's body Friday. The medical examiner believes they still need more tests to determine it really is him. Detectives believe the body had been in the pond for several days. We've learned a family member was searching for Giovanni when they saw what appeared to be a body partially submerged at the edge of the pond and told deputies. The medical examiner says there is no evidence of anything criminal and the cause of death is still pending.
Family and friends are gathering in Clayton today to celebrate the life of a UNC Wilmington student who was hit and killed by a train. 21-year-old Ella Ryan Miller was leaving her job Tuesday and attempted to cross the railroad tracks when she was hit. A celebration of life is happening for Miller in a field off Loop Road in Clayton. The visitation is from noon to 1, and the celebration of life starts at 1:30.
The search for Cumberland County's next sheriff comes to a head this morning. Commissioners will meet at 9 a.m. to choose a successor to Sheriff Ennis Wright. He retired in June after nearly 30 years of service. Wright made history as the county's first African-American sheriff. Applicants who submitted materials by the deadline early last week will have a chance to speak before the board at the courthouse. The appointment will fill the remainder of Wright's term.
School resource officers in Nash County are getting ready for the start of the new year. Sheriff Keith Stone is holding a joint session with the SBI today for mandatory behavioral threat assessment training. This training comes just a week after the officers completed training that focused on students with autism.
The Wake County school system is making some major changes as to how it serves students with disabilities. District leaders plan to provide more training for staff and to make sure all staff know what their roles are. The changes come 3 years after an independent review found that schools' relationships with parents were often deteriorating. They said not enough staff knew about working with students with disabilities. WRAL's Education Insider dug into the changes and the report behind it all. You can read about it at WRAL.com.
We're just days away from a critical summit between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. According to NBC News, the White House is considering extending an invite to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Just last week, Putin said Ukraine was far from meeting its preconditions for face-to-face talks. Ukraine's ambassador kept the door open, saying the president is ready to be anywhere to advance the agenda of peace. Over the weekend, top Ukrainian officials met in England with Vice President J.D. Vance. Today, White House Special Envoy Keith Kellogg is scheduled to head to Ukraine to continue those discussions.
This morning, residents in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, are waking up under a state of emergency after torrential rain caused historic flash flooding and left some neighborhoods underwater. Video from a bridge above the Milwaukee River shows debris and water rushing into downtown. More video shows another overflowing river rushing over roads, parks, even railroad tracks. Some areas across the county saw up to 11 inches of rain in just 24 hours. Meteorologists say a flood alert will remain in place for the state today as 1 to 6 more inches of rain is possible.
Also today, officials at Fayetteville State University are holding a ceremony to dedicate their newest residency hall ahead of the new school year. During the celebration, FSU will recognize faculty, staff, legislators, and community partners whose contributions made the project possible. Today's event kicks off at 9 a.m. at Bronco Pride Hall on Grace Black Circle.
A driver died after having a medical emergency during a sportsman race at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. Officials say Robbie Brewer had a direct hit with the wall in turn 4 following a restart. Track officials had to peel back the roof of the car to remove him. He was taken to the hospital in this ambulance and where he died. Bowman Gray Stadium released a statement saying in part, Robbie was a talented and passionate racer and highly respected competitor among his peers. Our thoughts and prayers are with Robbie's family and friends at this time.
A Moore County dog park will be closed today for storm cleanup. Martin Dog Park in Southern Pines was damaged during Chantal last month. The local Department of Parks and Recreation says the closure starts today, but they did not say how long it would be closed. They're asking people to avoid the area while the crews do their work.
We have an update to a story we first brought you last month when a car crashed into the front of a Sampson County restaurant. The owner of Hull's Grill says the restaurant's insurance will cover half of the restoration costs. They are holding a barbecue plate fundraiser on September 12th, and they have a GoFundMe page set up to help cover remaining costs.
Two microchip giants, NVIDIA and Advanced Micro Devices, have agreed to pay the federal government 15% of their revenues from sales to China. That's according to the Financial Times. In exchange, the two companies will get export licenses to sell chips in China. That's a reversal for the Trump administration, which had put tough U.S. restrictions in place on chip sales to Beijing. It is unclear how the administration will use the money from the two chip makers.
Safety behind the wheel, a defensive driving class for newly licensed teens ahead of the new school year, how they're learning to protect themselves on the road.
And settlement reached $8 million could be going to thousands of people more than 3 years now after the massive Weaver fertilizer plant fire. What a formal agreement could mean for the hundreds who live near that plant.
And here's a live look at Durham right now. Storms and showers ramping up today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner times out the rain and shows us the areas where flooding is a possibility.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:43, taking a look at what's happening across our area. We have cloudy skies out there this morning, but right now it's dry. We have a small chance for showers this morning, but as we get into the afternoon and evening, that chance really starts to go up again. 73 in Wilson and Durham, 74 in Fayetteville. Our humidity is going to be creeping up too. It's such a nice weekend with some nice dry conditions and low humidity again. But 40% chance once we get into about the middle of the morning and a 60% chance as we get into the evening. And the focus mainly is likely to be in our southern counties. I'm going to walk you through that with Futurecast in just a few minutes. It does stay cool today again with the cloud cover. We'll see a high of 82, but this may be the last sort of comfortable day temperature wise. We have the heat that returns later in the week. I'll show you coming up.
More than 3.5 years after a massive fire at a fertilizer plant in Winston-Salem, and thousands of people could soon get paid. About 6,500 people who lived within a 1-mile radius of the Weaver fertilizer plant could be eligible for a portion of the $8 million settlement. The fire, which forced evacuations, left many scrambling to find temporary housing and deal with unexpected expenses. The settlement was reached in a North Carolina Superior Court last week. A formal agreement is expected to be finalized by August 31st.
The Durham County Sheriff's Office helped kids get ready to go back to school while working to end community violence. Volunteers packed into the Durham County Memorial Stadium parking lot. They set up tents to give away school supplies and backpacks. There was also food and music and educational resources.
Goldsboro Police Department held a back to school supply. It was a giveaway that went on yesterday. The Community Police Services Division partnered with the First African Baptist Church to make this all happen. The department's newest school resource officers were there to help hand out supplies and say hello to the students.
The South Atlantic Fire Rescue Expo was in Raleigh over the weekend. The Fayetteville Fire Department shared these pictures of its hazardous materials team participating in the Hazmat Challenge. They were up against regional response teams from across the state. By the way, they came in second place among 7 teams.
There were more than 12,000 teen car crashes last summer in North Carolina. That's according to the State Department of Transportation. With the start of school just days away, a unique driving course for young people returned to the State Highway Patrol Training Center in Raleigh this weekend. WRAL's Flynn Snyder talked with teens getting hands-on practice in emergencies.
From turning out of skids to overcoming distracted driving, teenager Haven Woodard is learning skills that could one day save her life behind the wheel.
Definitely the skidding, that stood out to me the most. You really have to focus on where you're looking. I did not know that was a big deal.
She's among the dozens of teens who forwent a typical Sunday morning to practice crash avoidance and drop wheel recovery with brakes, a hands-on defensive driving program that allows students to apply what they learn in driver's ed on a controlled course.
Not a substitute for driver's education, but it fills the gap in what these student drivers should do in an emergency situation.
Here, look at the hanger. See where the car goes?
Yeah. We put our own skills to the test with brakes instructor Matt Riley in a car designed to simulate spinouts on icy roads.
Catch it this time. Get it.
To react fast.
Yes, you do. Once that back of the car breaks loose, you only have from 0 to 90 degrees to catch it. So you got to add that correction very, very quickly.
Crucial lessons for young drivers who instructors say are increasingly reluctant to get behind the wheel, depending on rideshare or using automated cars.
There's always got to be a human element that is in control of that vehicle, whether it's pushing a button to make it automated or deactivating that feature.
With every student passing this program, Brake says these young drivers are 64% less likely to have a car crash in their first 3 years behind the wheel. That gives Woodard and her parents who watch the program in action more confidence when hitting the road with friends.
I feel like most teams should be learning this because, you can't rely on the other person to already know something you don't know.
Unique training that parents and instructors hope will help students in emergencies on the road. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, Raleigh.
And retired racer Doug Herbert started the Brakes program after losing his 2 young sons in a 2008 car crash. The next Brakes program in Raleigh is scheduled for October.
Wake County is asking for your input on its historic preservation standards. They're hosting a public meeting this week. It will be on Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30 at Panther Branch Rosenwald School. The goal is to make it easier for homeowners to make repairs or improvements to historic properties. It also includes new guidance on how to protect historic homes during natural disasters.
Today, the headquarters library in Fayetteville is expected to reopen after being closed this weekend. The doors closed early Saturday for HVAC repairs. Cumberland County says the repairs will affect climate control in the building, but are necessary to maintain a safe and welcoming environment for visitors and staff. The library will open today at noon as long as the repairs are finished. All other Cumberland County Library locations remain open.
It is 4:49 and showers and storms could pop up today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Might we see some this morning, Elizabeth?
It's possible, especially down south. We do have some precipitation that's moving up from the south, mostly fizzling out as it moves into our area. So things are looking fine right now. The bulk of the rain isn't going to happen during the morning commute, but it's not out of the question that we would see something. This is a look at 8 a.m., tiny little shower, maybe in the west at that point. Here's lunchtime. Again, not looking too exciting. But once we get into the afternoon and evening, around the time of the evening commute, we begin to see the showers and thunderstorms becoming a little bit more widespread. We're not looking at a lot of coverage today, but definitely a bump up from what we saw over the weekend. Morning exercise, heading out the door. It's a little bit warmer, a little bit more muggy than it was over the weekend. Temperature 71 at 6 a.m., at 10 a.m. 76, but it's likely to be dry. So if you wanted to get out and exercise this morning, it looks like you'll be just fine. It is cloudy. We can see that here over the legislative building. 72 is our temperature, but our dew point has climbed up to 71, and that does put us in the highest tropical zone. 82 for Raleigh and Durham and 83 in Fayetteville. The cloud cover will keep our temperatures cooler again today, but not for long. This is a look at our heat index as we go through the week. So 82, but feeling like 87, feeling like 91 on Tuesday. But then we get to Thursday and Friday, and we're feeling like the triple digits again. We were so spoiled for the first part of August. We've seen much cooler than normal temperatures, and we're about to change that back up. As our temperatures heat up, the tropics are heating up as well. Things are pretty quiet except for a wave coming off the coast of Africa, and that one looks like it has a good chance of developing. You can see it already looks fairly organized, and we have a 90% chance that this develops into at least a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm or beyond. Now, of course, it is a long way away from the United States, a long way away from North Carolina. We take a look at the computer model plots. These are the hurricane models, and it takes us by next Sunday, so a week from now, just out here into the Atlantic, and it's pretty much impossible to know if it's going to have any impact on the United States. But it's something that we'll be watching very closely. We're going to be tracking this for you every day as we get more updates. All right, 91 on Thursday and Friday, 90 on Saturday. So if you're missing that August heat, here it comes.
Thanks, Elizabeth. A golden delivery. NC State's Chris McHugh won big at the Home Run Derby X, the award a four-legged friend brought to the most valuable player.
And Spider-Man is back. Filming is underway for the next Spidey movie. How fans made Tom Holland's first day on set extra special.
Production is underway on the next Spider-Man film, and Jonah Hill is stepping into many roles in his upcoming project, Cut Off. Movie and streaming news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Yeah, I feel good, man. It's day one. Day one? My fourth ever day one on Spider-Man.
Tom Holland is back at work filming Spider-Man Brand New Day. Sony released this footage of Holland riding a tank and posing for photos with a special fan. Holland says in the clip it's his first day one with fans on the set. Spider-Man Brand New Day is due in theaters July 31st, 2026.
The story itself really is just so crazy.
Jonah Hill is looking to beat Spidey to theaters. Warner Brothers says Cut Off is set to debut July 17th of next year. Hill and Kristen Wiig star in the comedy as entitled siblings. Hill also directs, produces, and co-wrote the film.
Everything I've done, everywhere I go, is for the One Piece.
Netflix seems to feel pretty good about One Piece. Season 2 of its live-action adaptation of the long-running manga doesn't debut until next year, but the streamer has already announced it's picking up the show for a third season. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, check this out. Champ, the multi-talented retriever, got to deliver the golden bat to the MVP of the Home Run Derby X at the DBAT this weekend. NC State's Chris McHugh earned the honors. This was McHugh's second straight win at Home Run Derby X. He teamed up with Ryan Zimmerman, who played for 17 years with the Nationals, and Allie Newland, who played softball at LSU and is now the graduate student manager of NC State's softball team. Congrats.
Don't forget, this year's Clear the Shelters campaign is happening right now. The event is part of a nationwide effort to get pets out of shelters and into homes. Shelters across the country, including SPCA of Wake County, are taking part. You can head there anytime from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. to adopt a new forever friend or to donate. The campaign ends August 31st.
Road damage headache ahead at 5. The next steps for fixing the sinkhole that shut down an Apex Road.
And the show goes on. A Charlotte comedian took the stage 24 hours after being shot. The motivation that kept him from canceling.